Before we get into this, if stories about real relationships, quiet betrayals, and uncomfortable truths hit home for you, make sure you subscribe. These stories don't sugarcoat anything. I didn't forget our anniversary by accident. I ignored it on purpose. By the time October came around, I'd already counted the rejections like notches on a wall I didn't want to look at anymore. Months of reaching for her in bed and feeling her roll away. Months of, I'm tired, not tonight, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. What had come was silence. The kind that sits between two people on the couch while the TV keeps talking for them. My wife, Lena, used to mark our anniversary weeks ahead. She'd leave notes on the fridge, book restaurants, touch my arm when she walked past me. Somewhere along the way, that version of her vanished, and I became the only one still noticing the distance. The week before our anniversary, she started staying late at work again. Her phone never left her hand. She'd smile at messages and tilt the screen away without thinking. When I asked how her day was, she gave summaries instead of stories. Details disappeared first, then warmth. On the morning of our anniversary, I woke up before her. No excitement, no plan, just a tight feeling in my chest. I made coffee and didn't bring her a cup. I didn't say a word when she walked past me in the hallway, already dressed, already distracted. At noon, my phone buzzed. Lena, did you forget what today is? I stared at the message longer than I should have. I thought about every night I'd been turned away. Every time I felt unwanted in my own marriage. I typed nothing back. I put the phone face down and went back to work. That night, she came home early. Too early. She wore the red dress she knew I loved, the one she hadn't worn in months. She stood in the doorway, waiting for something, an apology, a reaction, proof I still cared enough to chase her. But I didn't move, and that's when I noticed how nervous she looked. Not hurt, not angry, nervous. Why would my wife be nervous on our anniversary? She didn't sit down right away. Lena hovered near the kitchen counter, adjusting her bracelet over and over like it was suddenly too tight. I watched her without staring. The way you observe a stranger whose reactions don't quite match the moment. You didn't answer my text, she said finally, forcing a light tone. I saw it, I replied. That's it. Her voice cracked just slightly. You didn't think today mattered? I wanted to laugh, not because it was funny, but because for months, nothing about us had seemed to matter to her. I told her that, calmly, too calmly. I said I was tired of feeling like a roommate, tired of reaching for someone who flinched away, tired of anniversaries being remembered while intimacy was forgotten. She didn't interrupt. That was new. Instead, she pulled out her phone. Her hand shook as she unlocked it. I need to show you something, she said, before you assume the worst. That sentence alone told me everything wasn't right. She scrolled through messages, then hesitated. Her thumb hovered like she was standing on the edge of a cliff. Finally, she turned the screen toward me. It wasn't romantic at first glance. No hearts, no obvious flirting. Just long conversations with a name I didn't recognize. Evan, co-worker, she said quickly, project partner. But the timestamps told a different story. Late nights, early mornings, messages sent while she'd been lying next to me, pretending to sleep. You told him things. I said quietly, not questions, facts, things you stopped telling me. Her eyes filled instantly. I didn't plan it. It just happened. That phrase again. The one people use when they don't want to admit choice. She admitted the emotional closeness first. How he listened. How she felt seen. Then came the pause. The long, heavy one where truth either comes out or poisons everything forever. There was one night, she said, barely audible, after drinks. I told myself it didn't mean anything. My chest tightened, but my face stayed still. I asked where. She told me, a hotel 10 minutes from our house. The same weeks she'd stopped touching me. The same weeks I'd blamed myself. Then she said something that changed everything. I was going to end it tonight. That's why I came home early. Was that supposed to fix it? Or was I just late to my own marriage falling apart? I didn't raise my voice. That surprised her more than anything. So if I planned dinner, I asked, "If I bought flowers, would you still be in it tonight?" She opened her mouth, then closed it. That was my answer. I stood up and walked to the bedroom. Not to pack. Not yet. I needed air, space, something solid to hold on to. Behind me, I heard her footsteps stop at the doorway, like she knew crossing it would make things worse. "I was lonely," she said. "You felt distant." I turned around. I felt rejected, repeatedly. "And instead of fixing us, you replaced me." That's when she broke down. Real tears. Apologies that came too late. Promises that sounded practiced, like she rehearsed them during those late nights she spent texting someone else. I asked to see the rest of the messages. She hesitated again. Another answer. When she finally handed over the phone, I scrolled past things no spouse should ever read. Not explicit, but intimate. Shared jokes. Confessions. The kind of closeness that drains a marriage long before a body ever leaves it. I gave the phone back. I ignored our anniversary because I already felt single, I said. "I just didn't know you'd made it official, without telling me." She begged me not to walk away, said it was a mistake, said she chose me. But choices show up before consequences, not after. That night, I slept on the couch. Not out of punishment, out of clarity. In the quiet, I realized something brutal and freeing at the same time. Love doesn't die in explosions. It fades in unanswered touches, in redirected attention, in secrets typed while someone else lies beside you. We didn't separate that week. But we didn't pretend either. Therapy came. Hard conversations. Boundaries drawn with trembling hands. Some days, I still wonder staying with strength, or fear starting over. But one thing is certain. Ignoring our anniversary didn't break my marriage. It exposed what had already been broken. If you've ever felt invisible in a relationship or stood at the edge of a choice that could change everything, I'd really like to hear your thoughts. Share your perspective in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable.